Hey, welcome to TheStreet podcast. We are here with Eric Jhonsa, our tech columnist extraordinaire. Tech and telecom editor Nelson Wang's here with us as well. So Eric was out at the Goldman Sachs Tech and Internet conference recently, and man, did he get some great stuff. As a matter of fact, Jim Cramer called him out, said it was extraordinary, meaningful, unlike anything else, and apparently we dominated the Google search page. Nelson, you had the privilege of editing all this, so my God, you must have come out like with your head spinning.
Totally. It was a real privilege to be editing all of Eric's stories from out there.
And Eric, you were inside, so you got some serious takeaways from, and I know, for instance, you interviewed the CEO of PayPal, and with eBay getting rid of them, that could be a big deal.
Yeah, PayPal shares fell sharply a couple of weeks ago at the time of their Q4 report when eBay announced that it'll be like a shifting, some of the business that they deliver to PayPal right now to another payment processor. And, I think PayPal CEO or COO Bill Reddy was, eager to, point out that this isn't a doomsday event for PayPal. eBay is now just 13% of their payment volume.
That sounds like a lot.
The deal could and, the revision of the eBay deal could free PayPal to target some of eBay's rivals in the way they haven't been able to so far.
Yeah. Look, maybe Amazon could use them. Maybe it'd be good for everyone. I know I call PayPal security all the time when my kids screw up and order the wrong things, right?
Yeah. I think, a lot of eBay and PayPal have been so closely aligned for so long, and at one point eBay owned PayPal. So there's a lot of concern there, when they feel like the biggest customer they're losing. But I think what Eric's story showed was that, there's a lot of other areas for growth for eBay, and they've already been kind of moving away from their reliance on PayPal.
I know Uber talked about how they still have growth too, right, Eric? Fourth quarter numbers came out kind of better than they expected, but they came out saying, we got room to drive. We got room to grow here.
Yeah, I think Uber's Q4 sales were up 61%, and their CEO name is hard to pronounce.
It's really long.
Golden Conference. Yeah. So he was really keen to point out that Uber isn't just a ride-sharing company. They see themselves as a play on the transportation industry in general. That I think at one point he quipped that cars are to us what books are to Amazon. That might be overstating things a little bit, but there are other opportunities such as the Uber Eats delivery service, and there are attempts to get into freight and rent electric bikes, things like that.
It's really interesting. My kids use Uber, and I say that I pay their bills because they use it so much, but they prefer Lyft. Nelson, there's got to be something there with that.
Yeah. I've got a good friend who works at Lyft, and I always joke about taking Uber instead. I still feel like Uber software is a little bit better. They know where to pick me up, and just everything's a lot more seamless. But Lyft is definitely making some inroads. It's a little bit cheaper, and it's got a friendlier vibe.
Yeah,
so,
the kids like the big mustache.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to talk about Nvidia. I know you heard from the CFO, Colette Kress. She seems like a really impressive woman.
Yeah, that was a pretty good talk. I think one of the things that she really tried to stress to investors was that Nvidia isn't just a chip maker; they're also a software company. They've made giant investments to grow out their developer ecosystem, to have other value-added software solutions that run on Nvidia GPUs, and that acts as a major competitive advantage as competition grows in some of the markets, just because Nvidia's seen so much growth in some of these fields. Intel and other companies are going after them, but Kress was really stressing that those software investments and the ecosystem that Nvidia has filled out acts as a node.
The stock's on fire, so they're doing something right over there, right?
Yeah, it's doing quite a few things right these days.
Like 80% on fire, something like that, right? It's up.
It seems amazing when I was editing your story, Eric, just how many high growth areas they're involved in, with the GPUs, with artificial intelligence, with self-driving cars, et cetera, et cetera. They're really in a lot of really good spots.
It's probably why it's one of Cramer's top
crypto,
picks these days, right? These days?
Yeah.
It's an AAP stock for sure. Nelson, you were on the Snap call.
Right.
And I have to tell you, I did research by calling home to my teenagers and saying, what the heck do you think of the redesign? And I got an astounding, I can't stand it, thumbs down all around. How come?
Yeah. So this was a controversial redesign. They rolled it out. I think they're actually still in the process of rolling it out. But a lot of people have it. But Evan Spiegel today, at the Goldman conference today, in his keynote, he talked about how they've always wanted to separate the user communications from the sort of professional content, from publishers, but also from celebrities. And that seems to be the big outcry, is people used to get all that stuff mingled in there, and they kind of felt like, oh, the celebrity is my friend. And Evan Spiegel actually said, no, they're not your friend. And this was exactly why they wanted to make this change. But a lot of people are really pissed about this.
Yeah, because wasn't it supposed to be like an Instagram where you can just like follow people and watch their lives, which is creepy and whatever. But like the one thing my daughter said is she can't find their stories. She can't find anyone's stories anymore.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially their real power users, got really used to sort of the way where information was and how they navigated it. And now they've changed it pretty dramatically, and a lot of people aren't happy. There's actually a change.org petition that has 1 million signers, including Chrissy Teigen and Kylie Jenner, who are not
should not surprise anybody.
Right. So it was kind of surprising to hear. I mean, he's not apologetic about it at all.
Go ahead, Eric.
Play devil's advocate here. Whenever a major like social network radically changes their interface, there's always a backlash. It's happened with Facebook, it's happened with Instagram, it's happened with Twitter. When Twitter doubled the character limit, there was a lot of complaints from diehard Twitter users, but it seems to have done more good than harm in terms of growing engagement and retweets and so on. And from the looks of things, I feel like Snap's overhaul isn't that bad. The main goal is to segment all the celebrity stories from all the.
You know what? If you want to know what's happening with Stormy Webster these days, Kylie Jenner's new baby, you are pissed off at this change.
Well, maybe. I mean, I feel like you swipe in one direction to get the celebrity stories and publisher content. You swipe in the other direction to get all the stuff from your friends and family.
Yeah, it's a fair point about redesigns always being unpopular. What seems a little bit different is just there's an online petition, there's celebrities behind this. So I think it's a little more
It's Chrissy Teigen, for God's sake. You get her behind anything, you're toast. But you're right about that, right? When Apple put out the new phone, every time Apple puts out a new design, the whole world falls apart. Like you have the earbuds. Right. The whole world hated them. I'm on the subway every day. I want those earbuds.
Yep.
Because the damn cord gets stuck all over the place now.
Yep.
So you're right. There's always pushback. At the same time, I want to know what's happening with Stormy Webster. All right, Eric, tell us what happened with Oracle.
Well, Oracle co-CEO Mark Hurd presented there, and Oracle's a very salesy company. They always try to present the best version of their business in the best possible light. Sometimes trash talk rivals along the way. At the same time, I think felt like he made a convincing argument that Oracle still has a fair amount of growth left for its cloud app business. That much of their installed base hasn't yet migrated to cloud apps. And while it's possible that some of that installed base might use rival software, maybe Salesforce or Workday, a decent chunk of that will probably migrate to Oracle, and that's a decent growth opportunity for them over the next few years.
Doesn't it seem like such your grandfather's stock, Oracle, right? Versus we're just talking about Snap and Kylie Jenner, and then you have like this Oracle, but yeah, they're getting in there.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how some of these like grandfather, the tech companies that have been around a long time, like Microsoft and Oracle and Cisco. I mean, Microsoft in particular is the most notable example of a company that they've really kind of adapted and retooled. And companies like IBM are trying to do that.
Right.
Oracle's trying to do that. But it's possible, but it's not easy.
Eric, Nelson mentioned Microsoft. We should talk about LinkedIn real quick too. Like, what they're doing with Microsoft, if anything, quite frankly, right?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn CEO Jeff Winter presented at the Goldman conference, and his, core argument was that LinkedIn is, still maintains a high degree of autonomy while at Microsoft, yet they're also able to access so many of Microsoft's resources, their Salesforce, their R&D investments, their cloud infrastructure, and all that makes LinkedIn stronger. And on the other hand, LinkedIn can, supply its data. They've got tons and tons of professional data on their users, and that can like enhance various Microsoft apps, whether in the Office suite or elsewhere.
So let's do this real quick. Of everyone you heard, Eric, who would you suggest? What would your investment picks be here? And then I'm going to ask Nelson the same thing.
Yeah, that's, it's a little tough to do. I feel, I think Nvidia is a great company. It's also had a huge run up. Microsoft's, run up pretty well too. So it's, just a little cautious, go in one direction or another there. I feel like, Microsoft could still have some upside, this year if, some of the recent trends have been going on with Office 365 with Azure, continue. I feel like they have some room to, improve their average prices for Office 365. Azure still has a lot of growth ahead of it.
Microsoft's like the Energizer Bunny, right? It just keeps going and going and going. Nelson, anybody impressing you these days?
I'm still a big fan of the FANG stocks. I mean, they're super expensive, but they're expensive for a reason. They're just so dominant, and they build these huge ecosystems around their products and services. And I think they're often led by visionaries, and I think they're still going to dominate for some time to come.
All right, well, we have a bunch of visionaries here at TheStreet. You have to read everything. Eric, you're doing an amazing job here. And Nelson, God bless you. Not only are you editing, you're putting stuff out all the time, too. Make sure you check out everything these guys write on TheStreet.com. We will see you soon.